watching Leicester Till I Die TV.
Watch us on YouTube.
Listen on your favourite podcast platform.
Or ask your smart speaker
To play the podcast Leicester Till I Die.
Right, Chris.
It's not Chris. It is me, Brad. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the LTID TV preview show with the season hot on our tail and our big game waiting for Sunday. We're going to cut things up like a Sunday roast with my guests in the background. I know you're expecting Chris, like you said just there, but I'm half his age but twice the talent. I'm probably fired after saying that, but we'll see what happens. I have got Craig, who you all know and love, in the background, and I've got Mark from Sky Blues TV waiting to give the opposition view. If you are new to the channel, please do like the video, do give it a subscribe, and without further ado, let's preview the first game of the championship season by bringing in our guest. First of all, I will start with a face that you know very familiar. Craig, how you doing, mate?
I'm all right, Brad. Hi, everyone. Good to be back.
Yes, it is good to be back. All them excuses that we've not been able to use to stay in on a Saturday and watch the football can finally come to rest. No more walking the dog. No more going on these luxurious picnics with the other halves that don't like football, eh, Craig?
Yeah, maybe there may well be a lot of kicking the dog, though.
Oh, well,
Season is like the last one.
Yeah, he's definitely hoping that Leicester have a more successful season. It's been a while. In fact, according to my notes over here, it's been, I can see that, 11, 12 years, technically, since we last played Coventry. I mean, it's a massive derby if it's named after the motorway, isn't it? The M69 derby. So, not the right division we wanted to be seeing in, but happy to see Coventry appear at the King Power.
I guess so. You know, it's nice. It's nice to see some different teams, isn't it? And you know, it is a local derby. It's probably the one that is our local derby. You know, we like to think Forest is a local derby, but I don't think they really care. No, to be honest, nobody really cares about us. I don't think we're just stuck here in our own little world.
Yeah, maybe it's because I don't care, because we've spent so long in a nice heated jacuzzi that's called the Premier League, and they've been sat in a one-star hotel. Everybody that knows about one-star teams is our guest, Mark Smith. Mark, you're the Coventry fan. It's been a long time since we've had a Coventry fan in, because we've been in the Premier League. You've brought us back down to earth by bringing in. How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, good, thanks. Yeah, looking forward to the start of the season. Nice, tasty first game of the season. So yeah, I'm going up as well to the game. So yeah, it'll be an interesting match, to say the least.
Mark, was this the game that most Cov fans wanted up first?
Yeah, I believe so. I think when we were talking about first game of the season, I mean, last season we played Sunderland, and there's not really much love lost between us and Sunderland either. Not because of geography, but more to do with Jimmy Hill back in the 70s, when one of the games we sort of brought the kickoff, delayed it by a few minutes, and to keep track on the Sunderland game, and then Sunderland got relegated. So they've never forgiven us for that. So that was a rivalry there with Sunderland, and now obviously a more geographical locality with Leicester. So as you say, it's been, I can't remember the last time we played Leicester. I think it might have been late maybe early 2000s, maybe, I'm thinking.
I can
been quite a
tell
while.
you with a nice, interesting fact. I can take on to, because like Chris, I like to keep my facts here. Stat
Yeah.
for you is the last time that Leicester played Coventry, it was on March the 3rd, 2012, and it was a 2-0 win for Leicester, which is ironically in the 2011-2012 season. And ironically, we had the exact same start date that season when we last played Coventry, but that was away. That was away at Coventry. So in that season, we kicked our season off away to you guys. Do you remember the score from that? Yeah. Didn't even give you a chance to answer it. He remembers it well.
If I remember rightly, because I'm sure I was there, 1-0, Lee Peltier.
You know what, Craig? I did research, but not that much, mate. I will take your word for it. Lee Peltier, if he scored that goal, there you go. So, yes, it's been a long time. Obviously, Mark, both clubs suffered disappointment in different circumstances, but both just quite painful. Obviously, we eventually fell through the trapdoor of the Premier League in very harrowing fashion, and obviously you just missed out on the chance to really rub it in our faces and replace us. I mean, how do you feel about that, and how do you feel going into the season? Do you feel like, are you worried that you might have that tail off that some clubs suffer when they fail in the playoffs, or are you confident that you'll be able to bounce back again?
I think so. I think it's been a big summer for us in terms of players' incomings and outgoings. Brought in about 8 players, and we're hoping to bring in another player in Haji Wright, who's we've been told, by various sources, credible sources, that he's going to be signing for us as a striker. Yes, we did sell Victor Gyökeres, who was fantastic last season, but we got good money for him. What we have done is we've reinvested that money, and we've brought in a lot of different players in different positions. Elliott Sims has come in from Everton, he scored a few goals in the Premier League for them last season. Been watched a couple of pre-seasons. He looks, I think he's a work in progress, but I think he's a good player. I think he'd be a different type of player to Gyökeres. Gyökeres was a guy who was very good at his back to goal and running at players and providing assists. I think Elliott Sims is probably more of a, dare I say, a fox in the box type of striker. Excuse the pun on the Leicester show. So I think his finishing's good, but I think there's still work to be done with him. We brought a lot of defenders in as well. The defence you would have seen in the playoff final, a lot of those were like loan players who've gone back to their parent clubs. And we've
go and join Leicester.
Well, but he wasn't our player to start with. In fairness, he's a Man City player, so technically he wasn't really our player. Technically, he's not your player either. So, But we've strengthened. We signed Van Ivik from Heerenveen, Lati Baudier from Swansea, Bobby Thomas from Barnsley, Jay Da Silva from Bristol City. We've got a lone player from Bologna. I think it's Binks, who looks quite. He came on for 45 minutes, or not 45 minutes, about 20-25 minutes against Exeter. He looked quite sure at the back. But the key for me is Gustavo Hamer. I mean, he was our player of the season last season, and he's still with us, which is good. And I think he'll be playing for us. He'll be playing on Sunday. If we can get him signed on a contract, I think we can really push on this season and certainly target playoffs again. I think it's possible, but I still think with our squad, we need a bit more strength in depth. I think we could do another defender. As I say, we've only really got at the moment officially 2 strikers. Really, we got Sims and Godden, and then you've got 2 youngsters, Abikwu and Tavares. But Tavares is still kind of getting back from a bad Achilles injury. But the one player I'd probably say you need to watch out for as well would be Katey Palmer. I think Katey Palmer has been doing really well in pre-season. Plays like a 10 role. Just a good link-up play with the strikers and with the wing-backs. So I think he'll probably go formation-wise, maybe probably a 3-5-2 type of formation, I expect, or 3-5-1-1, or 3-4-1-2. He's not. I can't really say first game of the season, but I'm excited for the game. I think it's gonna be a really tough game because when I saw Leicester, I thought, oh gosh, I'm still saying this now. I'm not the most to take a point from Leicester, to be honest, because I think Leicester are clear favourites with Southampton and the Leeds. I think the three sides going down are probably on paper the strongest sides to have come down a long time. So really, really tough game, local derby. But I'd be delighted if we can come away with a point because I think that I don't think many teams can go to Leicester and get a result, to be honest. But obviously you've lost Harvey Barnes, you've lost Maddison, but you've still got Vardy and Nacho, and they're two quality strikers. So they're two strikers who, in my opinion, shouldn't be playing at Championship level. Really, they're two very good strikers.
Yeah, well, that might not be the case. We don't know with Iheanacho. There's a few rumours going around there. I mean, Craig, a lot of signings there for Coventry, but we've made a few signings ourselves. I mean, Mark there noted a few key players for Leicester to be maybe wary of. Have you got a few players that maybe any Cov fans that are there should be wary of watching on Sunday that could really cause the damage?
Well, it's a shame Cody's injured. I think that's a disappointment for everyone because I think we all thought he was going to be the linchpin. He'd had a fantastic injury-free run, I think, over the past few seasons, and then as soon as he gets to us, he's our designated injury in pre-season. We always seem to get one. It was his turn. I'm excited to see Mavididi. I think he looks. From what I've seen of him on his day, he can be devastating. What seems to have happened is it's just a lack of consistency. He was at Arsenal as a youngster, and then fair play to him as a young lad going away to Juventus. You're testing yourself there. Didn't really happen for him, but then as a young player, it's hard to make a breakthrough at a team like Juventus. So went away to Montpellier and has had 3 to 4 really decent seasons there, and I think he's saying all the right things about it. He's at the right age to come back to England now. His family's good, glad to have him back, and this is a real opportunity for him to push himself forward. He's at the right age now where he's got a stage to show what he can do consistently, and I think so I'm excited to see that. I think Harry Winks at this level should be a really good playmaker for us, neat and tidy in the middle there, but it brings experience as well. And I'm be interested to see whether he bloods a couple of years. Sorry,
go.
All right. So be interested to see if he plays a couple of youngsters as well. I'm not sure of his. Well, I've got an idea his formation will go 4-3-3, but I'm not sure who's going to be filling those spots, to be honest, because he's played fairly consistently in terms of his team selection in pre-season, although we've only had 2 games that we could actually watch away at Northampton, which I went to. I must admit, for the first 20 minutes I thought this is going to be a tough season, but I think he's got this new ideology that it's going to take a little bit of time for the players to get used to, I think. So I think it could be a tough start to the season, to be honest, because not only have we got a local derby, we've also then got a couple of tough away games, at Huddersfield and Rotherham, who are not going to be lying down and watching us play pretty football, that's for sure. So I think it could be a tough start, and but I think as long as we're patient, and I think that's the main key here. It is a different way of playing. I think the players seem to have taken it on board. And I'm really pleased. I don't know about you, Brad, but I'm really pleased we've gone down this route with taking almost a gamble on a guy who's clearly got some good ideas about football. Has got a really great pedigree in the people he's been learning from, but this is his first big role. So, but I'm excited. It's very easy to just go down the managerial merry-go-round, isn't it, and pick up someone who's failed at other clubs. But I'm excited about what the future may hold.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited, mate. I mean, would I have taken a manager with a bit more experience? I mean, it's easy to say yes. I mean, especially when there was notable names like Potter and Pochettino floating around. Yeah, of course, maybe one of them two names. But I'm with you. We were in a position, A, not to be able to go after them sort of managers, but B, it's your Roy Hodgson's, it's your Sam Allardyce's, it's your put you to sleep managers, because you know they'll do a good job, and then they'll come up to the Premier League, and then it'll all go Pete Tong as it usually does, and then we'll end up having to find a manager, and then we'll be trying to convince a manager again. I really think, I said this when it happened to us when we got relegated down to League One, and I know I kind of said it a little bit jesty to try and perk myself up, but this might just be the best thing to happen to Leicester, because if you remember as well, Craig, back then it wasn't like this season where we just dropped out of nowhere. In a sense, we had 3 or 4 seasons where we were clawing onto the Championship to be alive. So, and we all know what happened. Yes, it took a bit longer than we expected to get the build up from there, but the momentum that seemed to carry on, you know, we won League One. We had the heartache in the playoffs the season afterwards. Some silly Frenchman chipped the ball down the middle. But that aside, you know, it was relatively successful in return. A new manager, you look at who he's been working under, whether you think he could do it on a wet night in Stoke or not, as a manager of Stoke City, is there to be had. But what he brings success and what he gets out of the dressing room and the sort of professionalism he brings, if he's bringing even 50% of that, I'm really excited to get to give Enzo a chance. And I think it's a perfect division. Like you said, there's no pressure in the Premier League to sort of mask it. You know, he's even got the fans on board to the idea that if we don't go up this season, I'm here for 5 years if it takes me to do it, to build this project. And I'm all for it. And the signings he's making, they're not left wing signings that we've never heard of. And I know we've had success with that in the past, but they've also been matched with disaster. So, yeah, I'm quite happy that we're getting some recognised names in there. And sounds like we've got some hungry players that are willing to prove the point. Just before I go through the record and see if you feel even more nervous about it, I'm just going to go through the comments. Some people have been sitting here patiently waiting. Our adoring public, guys, have been waiting to hear. Leicester for life, he is in. He says, hi, mate. Hi, mate. Hope you are well. Nate, he says, evening, Brad. Crazy this season is already here. Yes, it is. We were saying, weren't we, guys? So all them excuses are out the window now to have to go to the wife or with your husband shopping if he doesn't like football. You have your reasons. Coming back soon if you're a Leicester fan or any fan of the Championship. So it is crazy how quick it comes around. True Red says, evening, Brad. All the best with the Championship. It's all right, mate. Save our seat. Keep it warm for us. We'll be back next season. We might even bring Coventry with us. You know, Mark's so nice so far. If he keeps being nice, I might want him to come up with us. So you keep our seat warm, mate. I hope you're well. Anthony says, big up, lads. Yeah, we know that you are in the prediction show. That is tomorrow night's show, the prediction show. That's Prediction League. Craig, I don't know if you ever wanted to be in it or do it. I can run yours down the side. I will send you the fixtures through, get them through to me. I'll let you off being late because I didn't tell you.
I was going to say that, but yeah, send them through to me and I'll get them done.
I'll take the fall for it, mate. The Prediction League is closed. Craig is a last entrance, the only one, but you can join in the comments on the show if you haven't decided to join the league. But do remember on that league, you are playing for gifts from Steve Lynex's Foxy 7 clothing range for first place for those involved. But back to the business end of things, just got a couple more comments to go through. True said, Bobby Thomas from Burnley's a great signing, bags of potential with him. And then he's got a question for you here, Mark, if I read this one right. He says, well, was you disappointed to try not to push to re-sign Luke McNally on a permanent deal? Is that someone that you weren't too bothered about, or is he right in saying that you were maybe a bit disappointed to have it?
Yes, I was disappointed. However, I think Burnley wanted Gus Hamer as potentially as a swap deal, and I don't think we wanted to do business with Burnley. So I suspect that's probably the reason why we didn't end up signing McNally. And yes, McNally was absolutely fantastic for us last season. He came in the January transfer window, and he really was a big reason why we ended up in the playoffs, because defensively he was just quality, he was class. I'm really, really disappointed that he's ended up at Stoke, because I think Stoke have got a really good signing there in him. But on the other hand, Bobby Thomas, yeah, I've seen a couple of games of him, and he looks quite assured. My only slight concern is our pre-season. Although we've won all our games and drawn the one game at Shrewsbury, it would have been nice to have played against Prem side to test ourselves. I think we'd have learned more. Even if we lost a game, you could learn from that. So that's my slight sort of kind of criticism, I guess, because Leicester's a big test, and we need to be up for it, and I'm sure it will be local derby. And to see what happens. But yeah, Bobby Thomas, yeah. From what I've seen of him, he looks a decent signing. I think my only slight concern overall is because we've brought in so many players, 8 players, is getting that team to gel and getting them to play the way Mark Robins wants to. And I think that's the big challenge for Robins is ensuring that the right sort of the camaraderie is there, the ethic is there. The understanding is there. If all of those ingredients can come into play, I think we've got a side there that, can challenge. Certainly for playoffs, I think it's possible. But I think the danger is expectations are high, a bit high this season, because we've got a new owner who's, it's probably the first season since probably got relegated from the Premier League over 20 years ago where we've actually splashed a little bit of money on players, because most of the time we haven't got any money to spend on players. So, but overall, I'm encouraged by what I've seen of the new signings. I think it's looking good. But this is the test now. This is when it matters. First game of the season, doesn't matter about pre-season. It counts for nothing. It's about getting to Leicester and getting a result and getting them 3 points. So that's when it counts. It doesn't matter what happened previously. Like Leicester, they lost 4-0 to Liverpool, and I don't read anything to that, because Liverpool obviously are another level. So. Yeah, this is when it counts. It's all about Sunday and getting that result.
Exactly.
Just a quick one before you go on to stats, Brad. We talked about Maresca, and you briefly mentioned him there, Mark. What a good job that Mark Robins has done. To be honest, he's gone under the radar a little bit, and a lot of other managers were getting a lot of credit, but Mark Robins has. Sort of built that team up, without, as you touched on, spending a lot of money. But he's done a really good job. Obviously, ex Leicester player, but I feel he's not got the credit he's really deserved.
I think we're a bit of an unfashionable club, really. We are a big football club, but I don't think the media kind of perceive us as that. But I'm quite happy that he's been looked under the radar. To be honest, I don't want people to think he's. Every Coventry fan will know he's the most important asset in the football club. When he signed that contract, sort of before the Middlesbrough playoff game, it was a sign that he's happy with what he's got to work with in terms of the money, the support that Doug King's given him. Not just Mark Robins, I have to say. I think Adi Vivash is number 2. Is a brilliant coach. He brings the best out of players. Players that we've signed weren't doing, like Katey Palmer, for example. He left Bristol City, and Bristol City fans were happy to see him go, see the back of him. He came to us last season, and he was fantastic. He was a brilliant player. The only slight criticism of Katey Palmer was that he was just injured a lot, and that was a frustrating thing with him, because when he was fit, he was absolutely superb. But yeah, Robins is. He's been with us now since 2017, 6 years. He's taken us up from League 2 to the Championship, and he's made it clear that he's not going to settle until we get us back to the big time where we belong in the Premier League, because it's been way too long. 20 odd years outside the top flight is a long time, and Robins is a sort of manager that he doesn't show. He's not afraid of letting players go. He's quite ruthless, which is a good trait in a manager, and he's building a side again. To say, this is probably the first season where we've had a lot of turnover of players. So this is going to be a big challenge this season. Is getting the players, getting everyone to settle in, to gel as a team, and push on. So hopefully it will start on Sunday.
I would wish you the best. As long as we go up as well, I will wish you the best going forward. Because I have to admit,
more local derby is always good.
Yeah, my mum's a Cov fan, so I do have a little bit of sentiment for Coventry. Bless her. She's got to do something wrong with her life, so she chose Coventry to support. At least she's loyal to them. She always says that to me. She loves the fact that she's loyal to her club. But yeah, you can come up as long as we come up with you. I'm just going to fly through some comments. There's a lot to get through here before we get through to the stats. There isn't many stats because I was going to do an ex-players thing, but I realised we've swapped about 400 ex-players over the years. For anyone who's trying to get it on Twitter, if anyone is on Twitter and watching this, please let me know because it is saying that it's struggling to stream there. I don't know what's going on. But just quickly, Nate says, hope we can get Rack. I'm not saying that name. We're going to get Rack on loan. Craig, I'll ask you if you know who that is or if it's one of them funny names he's trying to say. I don't know.
He's a young kid from Palace who was on loan at Charlton, I think, and absolutely ripped it up there. Bags of potential by all accounts. He's another winger. So he would be another exciting signing if we get him over the line.
Oh, sounds interesting. I didn't know if that was one of them names that if I say it right, it's going to sound really silly. So I just thought I'd make sure. Can someone check on the Facebook? Because Lee's saying here he's not getting sound his end. As far as I'm aware, everybody else is getting it. So it's saying it's streaming, it's doing fine, but I don't know. There's just a few more hellos, so I'll race through these. Scott says hello to everybody. Hi, Scott. Hope you're well. Glenn from the Sky Blue Hub says evening all. And then you've got looking forward to Sunday. Yeah, we all are, mate. It's been over 11 years in the making. He says Doyle at left back on Sunday seems an odd choice. Think Cov will target him. Well, you'll know him better than we do in terms of watching him play. So that'll be interesting to see that one. After watching highlights of Liverpool game, think we may need to have Iverson start on Sunday and be looking to let Ward go. It'll be interesting to see how that does go, Scott. How will Leicester fans and players react if they go 1-0 down on Sunday? Protests will flood the stadium and we'll pretend we're Manchester United, won't we, Craig? No, I'm sure we won't have too much of a fear. Unless you score in the 90th minute, then we might leave in our droves because we think we've lost the game. Scotland says, Glenn, in all honesty, think we could get very toxic quickly. I suppose that's a big pressure, isn't it, Craig? That with what we went through at Brandon, as I just go through these questions first, is there a likelihood that the fans might still have that bitter taste in their mouth with Brendan, or do you reckon they'll get a bit more positive if it goes?
I really hope there's some patience, to be honest, because as I said earlier, I think it may take a few games. I would not be surprised in the least if we get turned over on Sunday, to be honest. But you've got to, in the Championship particularly, you've got to play the long game. And I don't mean the long ball game. I mean timing wise, because if you look at when Forest went up, I think they were in the bottom three when they appointed their manager, Steve Cooper, and they put a run together and got all the way through and got promoted. So in the Championship, there's time. And we know that he's a studious manager. You know, it's going to take a little bit of time. A friend of mine was at an event with, I think it's Guillermo Balagan or whatever, who's the old Sky Sports reporter who reported on all the Spanish football and wrote the biography of Messi. And he was at this event locally last night, and he'd spent a lot of time with Maresca, and he knows him very well. And he was saying there are very few people that he's met during his football time who are so studious and have a distinct way that they want to play the game. And he said Pep was one, Arteta's another, and Maresco fits right in there. But he will need a little bit of time to get it right. But he was saying it was a fantastic appointment. We've got the right guy. We just need to be a little bit patient with him.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be one of them that I think fans just have to forget last season, because we'd love to forget last season if we could. But this is like a new start, isn't it? It's like a fresh beginning, if you will. It happens in a lot of things. It's like it's like giving a manager a chance. You have to do it. You cannot go into that mindset as a fan, because I know it kind of gets diminished a little bit, but the players always relate to the fact that they feed off the crowd. And if we do go 1-0 down early, I think we almost have to expect it, but we have to be prepared to fire them up so that the players don't get that same mental scarring from last season. It's
we're going to be taking a lot of chances out of the back. I think, you know, he wants to play this possession football, so with that comes the danger of giving the ball away, and against better teams, and a class Cov as a better team than what I saw against Northampton, and we were giving the ball away there. So there is that danger. We've just got to be confident. The players have got to be confident. The crowd have got to be confident that we can just play our way through to finding a system that works for us.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Craig speaks like he knows all this stuff and all his notes, because you've got people agreeing with in the comments, Craig, about it, saying Forest looking to avoid relegation when Steve Cooper was appointed after a poor run form. And True Red, true to the name, true to the team. He says the championship bad start doesn't mean anything. The bottom of the league after 7 games. I say no more. I'm just going to read some facts, Mark, because I know you have to shoot off. You're on a promise, so that's what he told us anyway, folks. He told us he was on a promise. This is the record I found. Now, this is on lineup 11, so if this isn't true, blame them, not me. The record is that Leicester have won 37 games. There's been 24 draws between both the clubs, and Coventry have won 25 of them. Now, obviously, that's since the dawning of time, according to lineup 11. Mark, do you really care about them sort of things, or is it something you look at to kind of really motivate you? Would you be using that as motivation to go, we want to get that record a bit closer and that win column to Leicester's?
Not really. No, I think it's about the now, the present, not about what happened 400 years ago. Because it's just, you know. No, I mean, I think, yeah. I mean, it's a local derby. End of. You know, half results mean nothing. It's what you do on Sunday, and it's how you perform. So I think we can, as I say, I'd be delighted with a point. If we get 3 points, it would be amazing. But a point is a really, really good result away from home, because if you average 4 games, if you average 4 points, I say, you know, you take your point away from home and win your home games, then you know that's promotion form, because that's 92 points. Thank you very much. So, particularly this game, point is a good result. We can win. Obviously, we can win, but delighted to get a point on Sunday even, shall I say.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of them that I think you don't want to lose it, because it's a local derby, and the opening game of the season probably adds that little bit of extra spice to it. Some say that some draws are fixed, like the FA Cup and the opening fixture list. Others say it's all generated properly. You know, allegedly, so my lawyers can't get in trouble on this show. I'm going to leave you with one thing before you go, though. I'm going to get your score prediction, Mark, off you for what you think the game will be. But do you want me to cheer you up and make Craig angry at me? We're obviously not in the division we'd like to be. We'd love to be in the Premier League, having this to be an opening fixture, the 2 teams meeting. But do you know what happened the last time these 2 teams met in the Premier League? I will give you a clue. It was the 2000 and 2001 season.
Yeah.
And it was also the last time it happened. Do you want to spoil out, let everybody know exactly what happened that season when Leicester played Coventry? Or do you need to know?
I'm trying to forget about that season. That's the season got relegated. So
it is, but it did move a little bit. I
think we won. It was John Hartson was playing for us, if memory serves me right.
Yeah, I didn't bring up the fact that you got relegated that season, but I did chuckle when I saw it wasn't in the following season, because that was the season we then got relegated. But you did do a notable league double that season over us. You beat us 1-0 and 3-1. So you may have gone down, but you had the last laugh on us in that season. So that must cheer you up, knowing that the last time we was fighting in the big leagues, you managed a notable double over us.
Yeah. But yeah, absolutely, yeah. And hopefully that'll happen this season as well. But in all seriousness, I think the thing with the Championship is we didn't have a good start to the season either last year. I mean, we would have bottomed the league after 11 games.
Yeah, you had a rise, didn't you? You kind of,
and then we lost 7 games, and then after that, we only lost not a very, very small number of games, and we went on a big run. So it is a long season. So I think whoever wins or loses the game, look, it's one game of the season. One swallow doesn't make a summer. So I think you have to keep that in mind. But nevertheless, it's a derby, and we want to win. It's always, we haven't played Leicester since 2012, as you mentioned earlier. So it would be great to win, to beat Leicester. But as I say, I'd be delighted if we can come away with a point. It would be a really good start. And then we've got Middlesbrough next game. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, do you think you can make the push to automatic? Is that the aim? Or are you just saying go again, get top 6, and if it's a bonus if we get automatic?
I think it'd be tough. It's always anything's possible. You can't, me personally, I think about, can we get enough points to stay up? Then can we get to the next stage, get to that sort of 70 odd points mark, which is probably around playoff territory. Yeah. But yeah, it's anything's possible in division, of course. I think we need a bit of luck. You need to keep players fit. We need to, for me at the moment, I don't. If it's looking at the squad we've got right now, I'd say no, because I feel we haven't really got the depth of players to sustain it for a season. I feel we need another defender. We've got, say, 4 defenders at the moment who can all play centre back. I'd say I like a 5th. I think right back is okay. I think another player to watch out for Leicester will be Sakamoto, who we signed from a Belgian club. I think it was, I want to say Ghent. I don't think it was them, but we signed him in the Belgian league. But he looks a really, really talented player, very skillful, and the fans have taken a real shine to him. And he's very popular. But yeah, I'm looking forward to football again. It's nice to be back, and hopefully we get those 3 points.
Well, I would wish you good luck, but like Chris always says, I'd be lying. But I do wish you well for the season, and if we can both go up and Forest go down, happy days come the end of May. That'd be great. Before I let you go, Mark, I want to get your score prediction. I always like to make people nervous because. Usually people sit on the fence. Are you going to be one of those that sits on the fence, or are you going to be bold and say that Mark Robbins is going to haunt his former club?
Well, for those who know me, who are listening to this show right now, they know that I do like sitting on the fence. So, yes, I'm going to sit on the fence for this one. I'm going to go for a 1-1 score draw. So
there you have it, folks. He's sitting on the fence. He's gone for 1-1. Mark, I just want to say thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a pleasure having you, mate. Just quickly, for those that are around and maybe want to check out your content, tell them where they can find your channel and everything else, mate.
Yeah, so we're on YouTube. We do a live show Thursdays and Sundays. So Thursday 7:30 p.m. same time on Sunday. I'll be presenting the show on Sunday. So hopefully talk about a win against Leicester City, but we'll see what happens. Obviously, I'm saying it with a straight face, of course. So yeah, 7:30 YouTube. We're also on our social media channels. You can see us on our Twitter page at Sky Blue Fans TV 1, on our Facebook page as well, on Sky Blue Fans TV, and obviously we're on Instagram as well. So yeah, that's all our social channels, and also TikTok, forgot to mention as well. So, but yeah, 7:30 Sunday and Thursdays. So yeah, it'd be great to have you on and watch us.
Yeah, well there you go, folks. Do go and show our esteemed guest here some love and support on his channel. It's great to have you on. It's finally good to be able to speak to a Cov fan and be in the same division. And until after Sunday. All the best for your season, mate.
Yeah, same to you. Yeah, after Sunday, of course. Right, cheers. See you. Bye.
That was Mark there, as you saw from Sky Blues TV. Craig's just having some technical issues. I know he has just come back in now, but it gives me a cheeky chance before we go on to talk all things Leicester, including maybe I'll put Craig under the pressure with a squad. Maybe I ask him for a score prediction. He's shaking his head backstairs. He knows I like to wind him up. But if you're listening on the podcast platform and you are catching up with it,
the TalkSport Fan Network is the ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts,
including Leicester Till I Die, independent analysis and reaction for the Foxes faithful.
The TalkSport Fan Network,
unbeatable club-dedicated content created by the fans for the fans.
Follow the podcast on the TalkSport Fan Network.
Leicester Leicester Till I Die podcasts on the Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google, Anchor, and all podcast platforms.
Something is coming. Something big to this podcast.
Hello, Chris.
And not Chris. I wish he'd listen. I told him, change it. Say Brad for me, just to make me feel better. Craig, don't tell me I don't know how to stall an audience while your technical difficulties, but you are back, my friend.
Yes, I'm back. Just I don't know what happened there. I think I caught a button wrong, and then all of a sudden the camera went weird. And but anyway,
well, I will say, looking backstage with your white screen, you look better, mate. So maybe that was the way to fix it. Yeah,
thanks,
now
mate.
don't worry. I'm not going to ask you to bring it to line up because I thought about it and I thought, well, do I get him? But I thought, no, he's had a nice holiday. The last thing I want to do is stress him out on his return and get him prepped.
Thanks,
But I
mate.
will be asking you this. I've heard that this is a possibility, but this was the last question from Glenn. He says, will Vardy start Sunday? Now, I've heard he's injured. I'm not sure how bad it is, but Craig, if he is fit on that hypothetical, does he even start? And obviously the follow-on for that is actually, is he fit anyway to start?
I mean, he didn't. I don't think he featured against Liverpool, did he? And whenever anybody was talking about updates on injuries and team selection or whatever, all I saw was that they were talking about Conor Cody and Vardy. So that hints to me that he's got a slight issue. I'm not sure I would start with him anyway. I think I'd be playing Daka through the middle, or Iheanacho. But then the thing is, when you've got players, it's the same with Castagna. I'm not sure if I'd start Castagna if they've got moves that are bubbling in the background. You know that they may be looking to go. Castagna's got Juventus knocking at the door. Apparently, Fulham have made a strong bid of trying to get him. Are you going to play with the same intensity, knowing that if you go into a challenge, you could get injured and your move is off? I'm not sure. So for me, anyone who's got a move bubbling away in the background doesn't play. That's what I'd be saying. Put them on the bench. I'm not sure. Someone can probably correct me. Are you allowed a bigger bench in the Championship? I thought I'd read that you had a bigger bench.
I think that might be true. You know, I'm inclined to agree with you. If someone wants to correct us in the comments, I know Luke's in there, that he'll know all about the Championship. He spent there long enough. But yeah,
I'd be playing. I think I'd be playing with Daka. I mean, I saw him at Northampton. He's a through the middle player. Daka. Yeah. He's an instinctive finisher. I think as soon as he's got the ball at his feet and he's having to think what to do with it, which he will have if he's playing out wide, he doesn't seem as comfortable or natural for me. So I'd be playing him through the middle, which gives us our new winger a chance to get in the team, I think. But so for me, going back to the original question, I don't think he's fully fit. I would expect to see Vardy on the bench.
You'd expect to see him on the bench. There you go. Even if he's not fit, which it doesn't sound like he is, but even if he was, Craig would not have him in there. Just see what people are saying in the comments. Will Mavadidi or the young lad Mavadidi, do I think that's his surname, start on Sunday to the wise old owl? So he's not asking that me because I'm not wise. I might be a hoot, but I'm not wise. So Craig, another question for you. Do you see any of them player?
I would start with Mavadidi. I think he's hungry. He's saying all the right things. I saw Mavadidi. Mahiwinese, I can't remember. We're going to get this right.
We'll call him Mav for short.
Yeah. The young lad on the wing. A lot of people, are having him in their starting teams. I didn't see enough of him to make me think, yes, this is a guy who we need to start, to be honest. That may be because he was a little bit nervous, particularly early on at Northampton. He was playing down the side right in front of the manager, and he seemed to be just getting rid of the ball as soon as he got it, so he didn't make any errors. Later on, he started taking people on. But if you're in that position, for me, you've got to be taking people on. So I'm not sure. Mavadidi, I think, yes. Everything I've seen about him is all he wants to do is take people on. So I'd play him. The other lad, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a bit of a change around. Obviously, strangely, in my opinion, we've not lost as many players so quickly as I thought we would. I didn't think we was going to necessarily have a fire sale. Everybody must go. But when the rumours early doors were about Castagnet, I think there was the odd rumour about Samari. There was obviously Nacho. The Vardy one sort of cleared up a bit now. I was expecting maybe 6 or 7 names to go. Obviously, knew Barnes was a strong possibility. He ended up going. Obviously, Maddison was a shoo-in to go, and Yuri was gone. Well, he was in about September last year. Let's face it. But are you surprised that there's so many players that were kind of waiting to see maybe what Enzo would do if he could? Maybe they thought maybe Leicester still have got a chance in my career, or are you actually not surprised that so many have actually left the gates for Leicester?
I'm not overly surprised. All the ones you've mentioned, we knew. Obviously, Sernchu went as well, and Perez. I know you're a big fan of, so you're doing well to hide your upset over that one.
Emotionally damaged, mate.
Yeah.
For it.
So the rest of them, I mean, Vestergaard, God knows what. I mean, part of me thinks in the way that Maresca wants to play, Vestergaard is better suited than he was under Brendan, I think. Because if we're going to have a lot of possession, he can pick a pass and he wants to play out from the back and he's decent on the ball, Vestergaard. He gets caught out positionally and by pace. He may get away with it a little bit more in the Championship. I'm not sure, but I'd be surprised if he is still here come the end of August. Castagnet, for me, if Castagnet wants to go, then just go. As I say, I don't think you can play half-heartedly. You know, particularly in the first game of local derby in the Championship, you've got to go and give it everything. And I'm not saying Castagnet is a player that wouldn't, but I just think in the back of your mind, I think we saw that with Yuri, we saw that a little bit with Maddison. Players who are not going to put themselves in danger of not getting the moves that they want. If you're here, I think you need to be committed to being here, and you play. That's how I would see it anyway. You know, we've got enough players who want to be part of this, and I don't think it gives a. You know, if you can't blame anyone for wanting to go, particularly you can probably blame them for wanting to go Fulham, but you can't really blame them. You know, Castagnet, if he gets, and I think he's holding out for a move to Juventus. You can't knock that. He came from Atalanta. He knows the Italian league. But if not, you know, Iheanacho, nobody knows what's going on. You know, rumours of him going to Everton and, you know, Forest even at one point. Dearie me.
Poor sod.
But for me, I think you've just got to say, right, the season started. I'm here and I'm committed, and that's it. And if you're not, if there's a little bit of doubt, step aside and leave it to someone who does want to play.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to add the question to you in a second, Craig. I just want to catch up with a few comments here. I mean, Trura says here, problem for Coventry last season, which could have affected matters, was the pitch sharing issue with London Wasps. I'll get there in the end. They've had so many issues. I mean, it's good to see. Take the rivalry aside, it is good to see that they've got it all settled now. Scott, just going back to the point about the game, he says, I'm hoping for a win, but I'd take any result against them. He goes on to say here, does anyone know other than Sky and LTID that can watch the games legally? I believe if you go to King Power Stadium, you can watch it there for the low price of, for whatever the price of tickets are these days. Scott, if anyone can help Scott out, that'd be brilliant. I watch mine legally through a legal device. There's your answer to your question. You are the wise owl that knows too much for everybody to behold. You do get a bigger bench. So
I thought I read that you get 10.
Possibly. I assume the Championship still has the 5 substitution rules as well, does it not?
I would assume so as well. I mean, for me, that's a big bench. You know, if you've got 10 on the bench, then you know there should be some laws that 5 of them need to be from your own academy or something, because otherwise,
I think that actually might be a case, I actually think, or it used to be a rule where where the benches had to actually have one academy player on there. It's kind of, it's more the incentive to keep them in and around it. And it has worked for us in the past, hasn't it, Craig, that we've had youngsters on the bench, where Harvey Barnes came from. He played in albeit a dead rubber, his debut was, but it was a Champions League experience.
Also,
so it does work, I mean, I agree here with the list. Up until Samari, I don't think he was too bad. I don't see anyone apart from really Castagnier probably being else to leave. But just quickly, because Doug's joined in, he says, "Good evening, Brad. Good evening, Craig. Hi, mate. Hope you're well." Doug is also who you'll be up against. Now, did he go that way? I mean, saying it here, but I have it down on a piece of paper, and I know. Did he really go 2-1 Leicester, or is he just trying to save face in the chat? You'll have to find out tomorrow with the prediction show, which Craig is now a part of, even though he didn't know it existed until then, or he had an invite waiting for him. Let me just see where we are. We are here on the comments. Sorry. Also not sure in regards to Ward, Iverson battle, potentially Ian Acho and Daka. I'll run them quickly over for you because they're probably the two talking points, like you said, with Nacho being linked away. I think I know where you're going to go with your starting here, but I'll hold it off for a second so I can get through all these. Enzo, unfortunately for Brad, actually seems like Vestergaard. You know what? If he proves me wrong, though, mate, I'm happy to say it. I always said that about Perez. I thought he was useless. Turns out I was right. But if he ever proved me wrong and had a good season, I would top my hat off to him. I'd probably say it a little bit daintily when he had one good performance in 50. But if he does suit the system, like Craig suggests he might do under Enzo, I'm all for it. I'm all for second chances. But if he does really badly in the first game and he concedes an own goal, sod him off, give him to Fulham. Then you just got hi, Doug, hi, and Doug saying hi back. Josh is in the house. So it's not his comment I'm bringing up. I just thought I'd bring it up because I'm really excited to see him. He's saying, "Doug, hope you're well, mate." Talking amongst each other, and evening to Chris thinks he's Mike Tyson, but it's Tyson Fury. It's Tyson Fury as a call. How you doing, my old mate? He says, "Evening, fellas. Important the crowd keep going for the full 90 minutes Sunday. Going to play a massive part." Yeah, exactly. Going to play a massive part all season, like they do, don't they, Craig? They have to really turn up for it.
Yeah.
So going back to my point first that I was saying there, just as people saying hello to each other. What was I going to say? Here's the thing that I always had. I know the transfer window became a thing. It wasn't always a thing because we could make transfers throughout the season back in not as far back as the 90s, couldn't we, Craig? But would you argue that, like you said about players maybe like Castagnier, who seems to still be getting pre-season time, but seems to be getting linked away all the time, maybe doesn't have his head in it. We've seen it in the past with many of players. I mean, I infamously remember Berbatov moving to Manchester United, was sulking on the bench. Is there a way, possibly, I know we probably opt for it, but would it be more ideal to say, start to the commercial side of things, the window closes Friday night. This Friday, it closes. Or at worst, you say you go to the division and go, next week it goes. And I'm getting a bit of echo in your end. I can hear myself twice, which is never good because I don't hear myself once.
Ideally, yes, but I don't think you can do it in isolation. I think that's the problem. We had a lot of this trouble with the European leagues. I think it's even worse with the Saudi league. I think the Saudi league obviously probably won't affect us, but it could do. You never know if they're looking to fill their squads towards the end of the window. So you've got ours that ends at the end of August. The Saudi league has got another 2 weeks after that, which is quite dangerous. Which is quite dangerous for a lot of teams, to be honest, if they come throwing their cash about at the end, thinking we're a bit short here, there, and everywhere. So ideally, I always think, you should start the season. The squad you've got at the start of the season, that's it. The window's shut. But while the rest of Europe is open, while the Saudi League is open, I think it's really difficult because if we shut our window now, teams can come and buy from us, but we can't replace them. So I don't think it'll ever happen until there's consensus across Europe, at least across Europe.
Yeah, it sounds like a pipe dream, doesn't it? Really.
Yeah.
Just to kind of wrap things up then quickly. It's been a debate that we've done to death. I have said my opinion on it. I can still hear myself your end, mate. I'm not sure what's going on. If it's not my end.
I'm not sure either. Hang on, let me.
Because I couldn't hear myself, and then I could.
That's how. Is that better?
I can still hear myself, but I'll go with it. I can see it now. No worries, mate. No worries. Ward, Iverson, and him and other keeper whose name I have forgotten. Starting, do you see them moving on? Surely too many cooks for Rock with Smith is as a fourth. Don't really need fourth keepers. How do you see that situation playing out?
Yeah, I don't think you can. I think the new guy is going to be our number one. I don't know if you've seen it, but I saw a reel of his that was about between 5 and 10 minutes long, which was basically all about the keeper's distribution, and he was pinging it left foot, right foot. Probably one of the best passers at the club. And I think if Maresca wants to play the way it seems to, then the same way that that Pep did, if you remember when he got in there, I think he had the first season with Joe, what's his name? And then he's got his own keeper in, didn't he?
Oh yeah, Joe Hart.
Joe Hart. So he had Joe Hart. Yeah. He had Joe Hart, and very soon, as soon as he got a chance, he got his own keeper in because he wanted to play out from the back. Maresca's done the same very quickly. They've identified a keeper who can play out, who's okay with the ball at his feet, and they've gone after him. So he's number one. I don't think you can keep Ward and Everson at the club. The danger is, I mean, ideally, I think you'd want to move Ward on, but I would imagine he's on a decent wedge. And I'm not sure he's going to get that anywhere else, to be honest. Although maybe Arsenal need a third keeper, the way that they're collecting keepers at the minute.
Well, I mean, Brighton have sold another player, to Chelsea. It's like a shipping block for them right now. So maybe the door's open for Iverson or Ward there. Who knows?
Could be right, but I think the new guy's number one clearly.
Right, it just seems a bit of a weird area for him to want to strengthen when you've got the likes of Ward and Iverson there. So I wasn't agreeing with him. I think the new guy keepers can come in and take that role, because I just don't see why you pay money to get him in if he's going to be third choice. Because the age gap between them are very similar, aren't they? They're not too far. It's not like if we got rid of Iverson, we'd only have a year or two to wait for Ward. So goalkeepers will know how Torres large.
I mean, and don't forget in the first game pre-season, Northampton, he started Stolarczyk, the young keeper as well, who started ahead of Ward and Everson. Everson played second half, but Stolarczyk started that game and was taking a lot of chances playing out from the back, I can assure you. But it was clear that that's the way Enzo wants to play. So if you can't do that, you're not going to be in the team.
Yeah, well, I wasn't agreeing with you. I thought you would, but you're a wise out. You might have blown us away with a different opinion. It turns out you don't, which is good. It's nice to us agree every so often. Very rare. Larry here has a question. So looking forward to the season, but not so much the goal music. What do you lads view on that? Well, me personally, I think the last time I was out was to the stadium, for obvious reasons, isn't the case anymore.
Yeah.
I do miss a little bit of Chelsea dagger every now and then, for nostalgia reasons. Craig, you obviously go to the games because you're a local. I don't get the chance to go anymore. This is all on you, mate. What do you think of the goal music?
I'm not overly bothered. I must admit, when it first started coming in, I didn't like having any music at all, to be honest. But then you just get used to it, and without it now, it would seem weird. My only thing would be that whatever it is, I hope we hear it a lot.
Yeah, I am hoping so, because when you get used to it and then you stop hearing it, it's not nice. Although I do think you don't need to play it and I hope it doesn't happen all the season, but if you're like 3-0 down in the 88th minute, is there any real need to be playing the goal music when you've got a consolation? Maybe not, but I
To
would
be
agree
honest,
with you.
yeah, to be honest though, and if you're 3-4-5-0 up, maybe start throwing in some others as well. Just take the piss a bit.
Yeah, just get some crowd music like easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Get the crowd.
I tell you, I must admit, and we talk about. I'll just drop this in here. We talk about the Americanization of football, and we've seen it on TV or whatever.
Yeah.
I was very lucky enough to be in New York last week, and went to a New York Yankees game, baseball, and they know how to get a crowd going. To be honest, the Yankees were crap. They got well beaten, but and I know there's more stopping and starting, but when players are getting treated on the pitch on injuries or the game stopped for whatever reason, they really know how to keep the crowd engaged. If there's other stuff going on, there's less likely that you're going to start just chatting to your mate or bloody chanting for some crap. I think we could. I never thought I would hear that kind of thing, but I think there's a place for it in trying to be a bit more forward thinking and engaging the crowd. They get them in early, and we had. They had a thing every game. I think the stadium holds 40 to 50,000. Every game, the first 18,000 people who get in the ground get a free gift. We got a fantastic baseball cap, New York Yankees baseball cap, for getting in early. People come in early. They spend more in the concessions. They spend more on drink. They spend more on food. They get the atmosphere going. And I think we're a little bit behind the times now in terms of making it more of an event. Our halftime bloody entertainment is shocking, isn't it? I mean, Birch, God bless him, doesn't come out anymore. But even if the highlight of any season at halftime, you probably don't see any of this if you're watching on streams and the streams go down. But halftime entertainment is absolutely appalling. The highlight is if you get a race between kids from either of the fans groups. But it's abysmal. But there's a lot to be done. Football's an expensive game now. I'm going off track a little bit, but football's an expensive game to go to take your family to. It is entertaining. It has to be entertaining. We haven't had much entertainment on the pitch, but I think they could definitely look at doing more to engage the fans and keep them engaged rather than just moaning.
Yeah, I think there is a way you can do it. I mean, yes, you want to go down at half time, maybe have a chat with some of your friends that are, you're not sat next to, but are in the same block with you, get a bit of fight to. But for you smokers out there, get out and smoke a nicotine rush. But it is good to see entertainment. I mean, I will say one thing. I'm not asking for Shakira's performance stage. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Shakira's performance stage, lots of different reasons. But you know what I mean? I'm not asking for a half-time show that takes 2 hours to get through, but a little bit more entertainment, just it up. And like you said, mix up the music a bit. I mean, like True Red says here, he says, goal music I never liked. It's rare now because I don't think goal music is played at many football stadiums. I think we're one of the few that do it. And I do agree with Craig. Can't believe I'm saying it about something from the American sport. I suppose it says a lot when we're not talking about something from their rule book and we're talking about their entertainment that we should be taking. Last question though, and this is how I like Scott for this because he's tied it in beautifully for how I'm going to start ending the shows with you, Craig. He's asked, will we be doing a formation prediction at all? Well, not only that, we've heard, if you were watching when Mark was in the show with us, we will be doing a score and formation prediction because Enzo's new. It's not the same boring Brendan. And Chris isn't here, so we just have to play the bell and chant. That's a name. But Craig, you're a big Enzo fan. I'm a bigger fan of him. You know a little bit more of him. So I'm going to say my formation first, and then you can be the wise guy that corrects me and tells me the right formation and let's play it. But Craig, I will take this down as your first prediction for the prediction league that I will add you to. Craig, give me a score prediction. The M69 derby. It's a massive motorway derby, so you know it's bigger than most. Where are you reckon you can?
As I said, it wouldn't surprise me if we get turned over. I think it's going to be a tough one. I'm going to go with my head rather than my heart, and I'm going to go 1-1.
He is sitting on the fence, joining Mark with a 1-1 draw. Now, I will let you know this one because obviously the whole prediction is the whole entire championship. So I'm going to give you a little sneak peek to what you're into there. I have let my heart rule my head, and I have gone for Leicester to win the game in a good old-fashioned 2-1 style because I can't shake the feeling that Leicester love to concede a goal and do things the hard way. Now, on to the second part of that question. I don't know too much about Enzo, but from what I've been able to learn over this short period, I'm excited by it. I'm looking more into our signings, or not lack of signings, but the areas we're going for. And I believe that he will play a 3-5-2 formation. I think he'll play a back three. He'll probably go the new winger on one side and maybe someone like Ricardo on the other. I'm not too sure if that's interchangeable or not because he likes to have players that are a bit more versatile in different roles. I've gone 3-5-2. You're probably going to tell me I'm either really bad at maths and wrong, or you're going to tell me that's the correct amount of plays, but you're wrong. Craig, I've gone 3-5-2. What formation are you expecting? What should we actually expect? The man with the knowledge. Tell us what we actually expect from Enzo.
I think he'll play a 4-3-3 because from what I've seen, he's doing what Pep did when he started with Zinchenko, and then he did it more with Cancelo, and he came out and said he couldn't do it when he played Walker, and that is that his fourth man, in this case, let's say he's got a standard back four, Ricardo is his right back. When we're in possession, Ricardo moves into midfield alongside Harry Winks. So he creates an overload. So what he tries to do is create overloads in whichever area of the pitch that we're in. So if we got possession, instead of just having one holder there, he's got Ricardo moves into that space as well. So the defenders have got two options on the ball. And then when they've got two, the sort of wide men will come in forward as well. So you're creating a 4-on-4 or a 4-on-3 going forward. So whichever pitch area of the pitch that you're in, he likes to create an overload so you have one more player. So what he would do if he's playing three up front, you've got your extra man coming into midfield. That leaves your other two wide men to go and then join the three who are up front. So you get a 5-on-4. And that's what he tries to create, which is great until you give the ball away, then your players are out of position and you're stuck for cover. So that's why it's a gamble. But I think he'll go with a 4-3-3.
Well, there you have it. Craig the Wise Owl has corrected it and said, no, Brad, your 3-5-2 is ridiculous. You don't know what you're doing. It's clearly going to be 4-3-3. We'll find out on Sunday who is right. Craig, you've gone 1-1. Mark from Sky Blues TV also went 1-1. I was a bit braver and I've gone 2-1 Leicester. In your formation, I take it Castagne doesn't play on the left side then, does he not? Is that JJ's job back in stock?
I would hope so. I'd like JJ, even Christensen. I've got a problem with the way he's going to play, though. I'm not sure where JJ is going to be fitting in.
Wow.
Because he wants to create that. When he played against Northampton, JJ came on for Ricardo, so they both did that role of being the extra man coming into midfield. JJ didn't look as comfortable as Ricardo did there. And I think you do lose a little bit of their overlapping instincts to get forward and support. So I think it's going to be, some of the players are going to have to change the way they're playing a little bit. But I think for me, JJ or even Christensen over Castagne.
Well, there you have it. The wise man of Leicester has spoken. He's given you his score prediction, his formations. Craig, I have really enjoyed this first previous show, the one of many that we are now driving force behind. Did you just stay behind just for a minute or two afterwards, Craig? That'd be brilliant. So I can kind of discuss everything that's gone on tonight. But Craig, thank you very much for joining everybody. It's been a pleasure having you on. I'll see you in a minute.
Good job, Brad. Cheers, everyone. See you soon.
See ya. Right, thank you guys for joining us. I hope you have enjoyed it. I know it's not your usual face, but it's better looking, and I hope you've had twice as much entertainment today with myself and Craig there. So be sure to make sure you have hit the like and subscribe button onto the channel if you enjoyed the video. Like really is appreciated. And as you can see, scrolling across the bottom there, I have been trying to change them throughout the show. Let me get used to it. It's my first day being a host on this channel. But it does say there we have got a new sister channel, which will be hosting a quiz tomorrow at 6:30 with Dave, or as Chris usually calls him, Harry. But it is Dave, who you may have seen on the debate show that we have on a Monday here. So go and check out the £1 million point drop. You will find it on the quiz channel. The description is down below to that channel. Go and check that out. Show your love and support there. And if you've enjoyed it, thank you for joining us. And until next time, have yourselves a great evening.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network.
TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.